So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I understand that you're interested maybe in yoga therapy and this style of yoga therapy. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time to introduce what this particular style of yoga therapy is about. What will happen in the training, both Yoga Therapy 1 and Yoga Therapy 2. And yeah, and just to give you a little bit of a taste and experience, obviously we don't have all our props and all that kind of thing, but I thought I would lead you through something experiential just to get a sense of the approach that we take to yoga therapy. So let's just start with a very brief centering just to get ourselves in one place. So just go ahead and close your eyes. Wherever you happen to be, just allow yourself to settle there. Just take a full breath in, hold the breath in for a moment, and then exhale, letting it all out. And just noticing how the whole body responds. And one more breath in, hold the breath in for just a moment. And exhale, letting it go. And just taking some easy breaths in and out. Just acknowledging yourself for taking this time. And we'll start with one sound of Om, inhaling together. Om. Shanti. Bringing the hands together and opening the eyes. And namaste, everyone. So there are more people who are interested in the program, but they're going to watch the video after. And so luckily it's just us. And that means if you have any questions specific to your interests about the program or anything like that, please feel free. What I'll do is I'll give a little bit of theory. And then as I go through the portion about what the training is really about, I'll take a pause and just see if there are any questions as we go along the way. So just either raise your physical hand or your electronic hand, or Barbara might see that someone has a hand raised, and feel free to ask, okay? So I'll let you know when I'm ready for questions. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up as the daughter of the yoga master. Yogi Kamini Desai was one of the early yoga masters to come over to the US from the East back in the 1960s. And was really one of the first people to help popularize yoga in the West. So I grew up with all of that, but I really developed an interest in psychology as well, and finding that there's actually a lot of overlap between what yoga has to offer and what psychology has to offer. And by bringing these two together, I think that we offer something really powerful in terms of our physical healing, but also our mental and emotional healing. And really this style of yoga therapy is kind of bringing together the best of what I've learned through the background that I come in through, but also the psychology background, and also 30 years of experience doing this work, teaching and working with people individually. So really what I'm going to be sharing with you in this yoga therapy training is what I do individually with my clients when they come to me and they have either physical issues, physical pain or anxiety or trauma, or just they're stressed out, they're trying to recover from an injury. What I'm going to be showing you is what I do when I work with my clients. And I can tell you it's pretty powerful, magical stuff. I know that's strange to say it that way, but it is poses. It's definitely yoga based. But what I offer is a combination between the poses and this understanding of energy and facilitation techniques that really creates something different than either one alone. So we could do facilitations on their facilitation techniques, coaching on its own, which is very powerful. You can do that with yoga therapy too. We can do poses alone, but I find that the combination of inviting someone into a pose while you are right there with them, coaching them to encounter the tension, the fear, the pain, the stuff that they would normally kind of slide around without even noticing it. You are there as the coach to help them be with it and to face it and to listen to it. And that coaching element really, to me, is what makes it this style of yoga therapy. The combinations between the yoga poses and the coaching techniques together. So the foundation of this work, I would say, of I Am Yoga Therapy, and I'm sure that you are familiar that there are many styles of yoga therapy out there, and they're all wonderful. There's no one right or wrong. This style really approaches the body mind as one continuum, so that the mind and the way that we're thinking and our thinking patterns, our attitudes, are actually affecting the symptoms that we see in the physical body. So the mind is continuously affecting the body, and the state of our body, like overstress, not getting enough sleep, that's affecting the state of our mind. And so with this style of yoga therapy, we are not just addressing physical symptoms. We do address them, but we want to go more. We want to go underneath. So some styles of yoga therapy, again, nothing wrong with it, will address the physical symptoms. So, here are the 3 poses for stomach pain. Here's what you can do, poses that will alleviate the symptoms of anxiety. But that is really dealing with the outer symptoms that we're seeing, but it may not be dealing with, well, what are the thinking patterns that are triggering the anxiety? What's causing me to have anxiety? And so with I Am Yoga Therapy, we want to work at both levels, not just the physical symptom level, but what is happening underneath that is creating the symptom, that is worsening the symptom, or keeping the body from healing itself. So what is not just the physical aspect, but what's the mental and emotional aspect as well? When you come to yoga therapy training, there will be 2 major pieces that we're looking at. I think you probably guessed what they are already. The first will be the physical poses. And those of you coming to Yoga Therapy 1, that is where you will be learning poses that you don't need to touch your client to do. So these are kinds of techniques and coaching that you could offer online to people who want to take sessions with you, but who are not physically there with you. These are the kinds of techniques that you will learn. These are the kinds of techniques that you would do on a prop, on a block against the wall. So you don't have to physically touch or adjust them. In Yoga Therapy 2, those of you who go on, this is where the physical poses that you learn, you're actually going to be holding the person's body weight to a certain degree in Yoga Therapy 2. So for example, if somebody was stretching their leg up towards the ceiling, maybe with a strap, in Yoga Therapy 2, you would not just be telling them to hold themselves, you would actually be supporting them to be in that stretch by holding them there, right? And same with many other poses. So the idea in Yoga Therapy 2 is that instead of being supported by a prop or a block, you're actually holding them in the pose so that they can get the maximum benefit. They can fully relax in the pose and focus on the deeper, more energetic aspects because they're not struggling and straining just to be in the pose itself. And then we combine it with coaching techniques, right? So whether you're taking Yoga Therapy 1 or 2, they'll both involve poses, but one will be more prop supported. And then the second, Yoga Therapy 2, is more where you're using your body weight. And that's why I believe somewhere in the description of the course, I said that those of you going on for Yoga Therapy 2, it is fantastic work, but you do need to have at least a moderate level of physical fitness. So if you've got like a bad back that's bad right now, or a broken arm or something like that, you wouldn't want to do Yoga Therapy 2. Yoga Therapy 1 would be best for you. And of course, those of you who are thinking about it, you probably just want to start with Yoga Therapy 1 anyway. So let's just talk a little bit. So poses are going to be a part of the training. And the second piece are going to be those facilitation techniques. And really what these are designed to do is coach someone through poses. So you could be leading an individual yoga therapy session. You could also be leading a group yoga therapy class. And there's specific wording and coaching that we use to help someone really encounter what they normally run away from. And if you're already a yoga teacher or you're practicing yoga on your own, this is not something completely different. It's just adding an additional layer, an additional dimension on what you're already doing so that you're getting even more benefit out of the poses and going kind of a layer deeper into the psychosomatics of the pose. These facilitation techniques that you're going to be learning are also great for helping yourself and other people work with emotions and feelings and old stuff that hasn't been cleared from the system in a healthy way. So often as a yoga teacher or a body worker or just with our friends and family, we don't know how to help people deal with their emotions, right? We can sit and say, oh, I'm so sorry, but we don't know what really to do to truly help them clear those feelings, those beliefs, those old patterns from their system. And so I'm going to be showing you three very powerful, very simple facilitation techniques, and we'll be practicing them to help people clear stuff through the system, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. So really, really powerful stuff, very practical and usable. Just to give you an example of kind of what we do, we already gave the anxiety example that we don't just want to work with the physical symptoms. The same would be true of pain. So let's say somebody comes to us with physical pain. What they may not realize is that the way that they're interacting with their pain can actually make their pain worse, better, or worse, right? So physical pain is actually much more changeable than we think. And so, of course, we want to use poses. We want to gently move into the poses to help alleviate the pain. But we also want to work in terms of releasing our resistance to the pain, releasing that the anticipation of the pain, the fear of the pain, because any of these will actually increase the amount of discomfort someone experiences. And so what we want to do, whether it's pain or anxiety or stress, is we want to work not just with the symptoms. Okay, you have physical pain. Oh, you have racing heartbeat. You have pressure in the chest. But what is it that's making it better or worse? And how can we work with that? And that's usually going to be the mental and emotional component. And that's really what we do the poses, absolutely, but we're bringing in this other dimension. And that's really what makes this style unique. What happens is that we don't recognize when we're working with people or when we're working with ourselves is that very often anxiety or pain or stress always comes with some kind of discomfort. So anxiety creates mental and emotional and physical discomfort. Physical pain creates physical discomfort. And typically what we do with any kind of discomfort, the last thing we want to do is feel it. And with this style, this is exactly what we want to train ourselves and other people how to do, right? And the reason is that the discomfort we are feeling in the body is the voice of the body speaking to us. So very often, our symptoms will start as a very small sensation. That's the language of your body saying, pay attention to me. Your body doesn't speak in language. Your body speaks through sensation. And if we continually, like with pain, we try to suppress it, we try to ignore it, we try to push through it. That's the voice of your body. It's like a little child saying, pay attention, pay attention. And the more that you ignore it, the louder it's going to get. And at some point, the volume of the body sensation will become so loud, our symptoms will become so great, we will have no choice but to pay attention to them. So what we want to do in this style of I Am Yoga therapy is start to develop a relationship with the body where instead of ignoring and resisting and fearing and being disconnected from the body, how can we start to listen to the language of the body? How can we decode the language of the body? So that's what we'll be looking at in this course, right? So let's just have a look in just a little more specifics, what you can expect from Yoga Therapy 1, Yoga Therapy 2, and then I'll also take any questions that you have. But so far, does that make sense what I'm talking about so far? Okay, wonderful. So let's come on over here. Just give me a moment. All right. Over here, what it says is Yoga Therapy 1. The Yoga Therapy 1 course, those of you who take it, by the way, if you want to go on to Yoga Therapy 2, you have to do Yoga Therapy 1. Yoga Therapy 1 is 40 hours. And like I said, it's focusing on the touch-free techniques. The reason I divide it up this way is so that people who are counselors, psychiatrists, who cannot do hands-on because of the kind of work that they're doing, they can take Yoga Therapy 1 and still get so much yoga therapy foundation and techniques without ever needing to touch their client. This is also great if we're working long distance. And it's also wonderful for anyone, if you yourself have limitations, you're like, well, how many clients, yoga therapy clients can I take in a day? Well, if you're not having to touch them or lift and hold their body weight, you'll be able to do many more, you'll be able to work with many more clients. So in Yoga Therapy 1, this is where we really go into the theory of yoga therapy as we are approaching it. And what we will see is that there's actually one thing, whether we're working with someone's beliefs or thought patterns or emotions or even pain in their physical body, all of these things come from one source. And if we know how to deal with that one source, we can begin to work with all of these simultaneously. We can work with physical pain, we can work with emotions, we can work with all of it at one time. And so that's really the core and foundation of I Am Yoga Therapy. We're going to be learning, really, to me, it's like yoga psychology put together. So we're going to be learning about how the self-image is developed. How do we develop the core patterns that we develop in childhood? But we're going to look at them from a yogic perspective in terms of the first chakra and the split, the division that happens at the first chakra, and how that subsequently creates imbalances at the remaining chakras. We'll be looking at a unique model of integration that we use. So there are three things that always need to be present if someone is to fully integrate, means resolve an event. And you'll learn what those three things are, but all three of them need to be present for someone to have fully resolved an event. Without the three of those being present, what we risk is spiritual bypassing, which I'm sure many of you have heard of, how we kind of disassociate from the pain of the event. And we kind of go to the spiritual realm where we say, I'm all good, everything's fine, I'm the source. But if we haven't done the human work on the way to that spiritual zone, it isn't a fully integrated experience. And so we'll look at what those three levels of integration are and how we use them. And then we're also going to be looking at energy patterns within your own body. You're going to be learning how to kind of decode and read your body, the posture of your body. According to yoga, your body is your mind made visible. And whatever patterns that we hold, this body is like a visible map to show us, start here. This is where your pattern is showing up. And by resolving the pattern here, we can also resolve it at the subtler level of being. So we'll be learning to read our body. We're going to be learning about body-mind connections, some of which I'm sure you've already heard about, but you're going to learn many more about, the meaning of the feet and the ankles, the knees, the hips, the right and left sides of the body, the jaw, the neck, the throat. What do all these mean? If there's tension or holding or in the belly, what does that mean? You'll learn how to conduct a body scan so that you can guide somebody else into becoming self-aware and helping them to kind of read their own body and decode their own body's messages. It's really fascinating and interesting stuff. we will be taking you through a map of maturation. So as children, what are the developmental stages that we're supposed to go through? As we grow up, what are the levels of maturation and even self-actualization that we are meant to achieve in this lifetime, meant to experience in this lifetime? And what are the gaps? So it's going to help us identify the areas that we're really strong and the areas that there may be some blockages, some limitations, or places that we got stuck. And that will kind of tell you, okay, this is the area that I need to work on. You're going to be learning, like we talked about, 3 yoga therapy coaching techniques and 4 yoga therapy sequences that are done with props or against the wall. So for the 40-hour certification, you can be certified by doing the 40-hour course and completing the homework assignments. And the practicum assignments for this is basically very simple. You need to practice each of the coaching techniques one time with somebody after the course is over, either with somebody in the course or outside of the course. And you need to practice the 4 sequences that you've learned. And when you've done all of that, you can be 40-hour certified if you wish. If you're like, you know what, I just want to take this for myself, I don't want to do the homework, that's fine too. You just tell us what you want. Those of you who choose to go on to Yoga Therapy 2, this is where I told you it's much more physical. And but I've got to tell you, it is so incredibly powerful to work with people in this way. Just truly miraculous things happen. So here we're working with range of motion, helping people really connect into their body using using traction and release, rocking, stretching, yoga poses, working the major holding zones in the body, like the hips and the pelvis, the belly, the heart, the throat, and of course, the entire spine. So these are major areas that people experience issues, and you will receive an additional 4 sequences. These are now partner supported sequences that you can use to address each of these parts of the body. And what you'll be doing in class is I'll be teaching you the 4 sequences. We will practice them with each other along with the facilitation techniques. This is where we get more into some of the practicalities, like how to lead a yoga therapy session, and kind of deepening the techniques that you've learned here and sort of bringing them into the new techniques that you'll be learning. All right. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an overview. This, if you finish this and you do this course and you finish all the practicum that comes between these 2 and then after this one, you will get 120 hours certified as a yoga therapist, right? The practicum that follows Yoga Therapy 2 is I want you to lead 8 documented sessions. So 8 sessions you do with somebody else that you fill out a form. Once you've done all 8, you submit them to me. So basically what I'll be asking you to do is do all 4 sequences twice with somebody that you know. All right. And again, I can't certify you unless I know that you know what it is that you're doing. And so I need you to practice it. Okay. So that's kind of a quick overview. We'll take a pause and just see if you have any questions or if there's a particular area of interest, Schoolie, that you are interested in, and then I'll lead you through a little experience.
Hi, Kamini. My name is Ida.
Yeah,
Can I ask you something?
I can't hear you for some reason. Hang on one second.
Oh, is it mine? Am I not hearable? Audible?
I can hear you, Ida.
Yeah, oh, okay.
It might be on my end. Hold on one second. Ah, there you are. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, my name is Ida. Very nice to be here and to hear about about the course. I'm very excited. I work as a psychologist, a psychotherapist. So I'm also guiding a group now. And I was wondering, in these courses, is there also some kind of mentorship or anything after these 2 parts? possible to, because I feel like during the course, probably I want to start slowly with this work and then maybe afterwards start doing it also more with my clients. Is there a possibility to have like a follow-up after that?
Yes, I think we can definitely do that. The other thing that we do have is videos. So we
Okay.
video all the sequences and how to do them. So you also have that as reference.
Yeah.
But we can either organize a mentorship like this for people who want to join, and also maybe even a practice group in Amsterdam for people who want to practice together.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also the difficulty at the same time I experience, because I work with people in Dutch and sometimes in my own language. And I find I'm still kind of wrapping my head around how I would like to do it, and also where I would like to do my yoga therapy training, because sometimes I feel I need more language in my own language to work with my clients in their mother tongue.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I still have to. This is more like something for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. And I think what you'll find, because what I'll be doing is I'll be breaking you up into pairs. So you'll be working with each other in Dutch.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't speak Dutch really well, but I do understand very well.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be able to, I will be able to come in and listen and give you coaching. But you'll see, like, once you understand the theory behind what I'm doing, you will very easily, I will give you the wording, but you'll very easily be able to adjust it over into Dutch.
Yeah.
So I'm not super concerned about that.
No. Yeah. And and the last question is also, is there some kind of accreditation to this therapy training? So can you then apply to the Yoga Alliance, or how does it work? You have then 160 hours, I think, after the complete thing.
Yes, so you can count any of these hours towards Yoga Alliance continuing education.
Yeah.
And also, if you do go on to become an 800-hour, this course is accredited with the International Association of Yoga Therapists. So you can, after you take the course, you can become a member, or if you're already a yoga therapist, you can add those on as continuing education hours.
Yeah, okay. All right, that for now.
Anyone else? Anything you're curious about or that you're specifically looking for in the course? All right. Okay, well, I'm going to take, we still have 15 minutes. So I'm just going to guide you through a couple of things, very simple, nothing too heavy duty. But one thing that I find when we're working with clients, like when we're working with each other, this isn't a problem. But when we're working with somebody coming in off the street, many people actually do not have a relationship with their physical body. And that's one of the reasons all these other things happen, because of this disconnection. You will be amazed how when you ask a client, does this hurt? And they'll be like, I'm not sure. I think so, because they haven't developed the skill of actually listening even to the physical sensation of the body. So very often when we work first, this is the first level that we're going to work at, is just helping people distinguish physical pain. Right? Did you have an additional question? Oh, no, I don't. I think we're good. All right. The very first thing we'll do is help people distinguish physical pain, physical sensation, as the basis of starting to recognize more emotional, subtler, energetic sensation. This is really the first level we need to work at. And so this is where, bigger, grosser yoga poses come in really handy to just help people start to feel like, oh my God, I'm in a body and I can feel that this body feels, and I can distinguish what those sensations are. For those of you working with trauma, either with yourself or with other people, you know that this is a really big step for people with trauma, to be willing to come back into the body and being willing to live in a place that has for a long time felt unsafe. So let's just do something really simple and go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. And then as you're ready, you might just need to look at me for just a moment. Tilt your head to the left and extend your fingertips out to the right. So it kind of looks like this. My arm is out to the side like this. So just extend your fingertips out to the right And feeling that opening on the right side of the neck. And normally when we do a yoga pose, maybe not you, but new people in your classes will often just do what they're told. They're not actually feeling the sensation. So the first thing that we want to do to just encourage the connection with the body is to first deepen the breath. And perhaps turning the chin down towards the floor a little bit, looking for the place where there's a good amount of sensation, but not too much. And you can even help the release of this tension in the body by taking a full breath in and exhaling it out through the mouth. Just release it out. And again, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And inhaling and exhaling, releasing. And just noticing how as you continue to hold, the sensation may be increasing. It may be coming down the arm, even into the fingers or into the shoulder. And just allow your attention to expand to include the whole thing. Just being willing and present to receive the whole thing. And then slowly releasing the hand back to center, bring the head back up to center. Directing attention to the right side of the neck, the shoulder, the arm. Just noticing the subtle energetic effect, the subtle sensations in this part of the body. And just starting to develop a connection with the body. And now bringing the left fingertips out to the side, tilting the head away from the fingers. And just noticing if this side is tighter or looser. And allow your attention to go right into the center of the holding. Using some falling out breaths to help you, inhaling through the nose. Release it out nice and easy through the mouth. Breathing it out. And rather than just trying to stretch or forcing the body to stretch, see if you can soften and relax around the opening. Just letting the head be naturally heavy, allowing the breath to deepen, softening all the muscles, and breathing out the tension with the outgoing breath. And slowly bringing the head back to center. And just noticing the energetic effect. So in yoga therapy, just working with very simple poses to help people reconnect with the body, to just feel what it is to be back in the body again before we go a layer deeper. So now we're going to work with the breath, and just take a moment to open your eyes, if you would, just for a moment. So a lot of times in yoga, of course, we're taught to breathe deeply. But for someone who has a lot of stress and anxiety, a lot of times what they do when they breathe deeply is they focus on the inhaling breath, which actually can make anxiety worse. So we're told to breathe deeply when we're upset, and we go, and actually taking more inhalations longer inhalations and shorter exhalations can trigger anxiety or greater stress. So it's not just breathing deeply, it's how we breathe deeply and what we focus on. So we're going to do the Shitali breath, which many of you may be familiar with. But in this variation, we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Right? And to start this off, and this is something that I do with my clients, especially beginners, to just learn what it is to breathe deeply. And I use Kapalabhati breath, the breath of fire, to just help them focus on the exhaling breath, which then naturally creates deep breaths. So let's do a couple of these. And if you're in a public place, you can do them subtly. Okay. So we're going to do this through the nose. You can do this through the mouth as well if you're not comfortable. So it looks like this. So forceful exhalation, passive inhalation, and just join in with me. Exhale, bend forward, breathe all the breath out. Hold it out. Inhale, breathe in. Hold the breath in. And exhale, let it go. Breathing normally. And just taking some easy, deep breaths, noticing how easily the breath flows in and out now. Notice how we've created a relaxation response just through the focus on the exhalation. Now I'm going to guide you just through a mini experience. So just begin to breathe from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Taking some full breaths from the base to the crown, and from the crown back to the base. Inhaling and exhaling. And this time as you exhale, just allow attention to expand, to include your whole body. And just notice if there's an area in your body where the breath doesn't flow very easily, where there's pain, constriction, or maybe even a void, a place that feels numb or shut off. And just find that place. If there's more than one, just choose the one that's drawing your attention the most. And just begin to breathe with what's here. Remembering we're learning how to listen to sensation rather than shutting it down. And imagine that this sensation was like a child seeking attention. You wouldn't yell at it or tell it to go away. You would allow it, hold it, and be with it. So as you breathe, just using your breath to be with that child, that sensation that's here in your body. You're not breathing to get rid of it. You're breathing to allow it. Almost as if you were saying to this part of your body, it's okay that you're here. I'm willing to feel you. And just staying present to it, breathing with it. Noticing if the sensation moves or changes. Maybe moving up to another part of the body. And keep breathing and following this sensation. This is your body's inner intelligence. And we're trusting it knows how to resolve itself. Keep breathing with it, making space for it. Simply allowing it to be. Maybe even asking it, what are you about? What is it that you need me to hear? Maybe no answer comes. Sometimes it takes a while. The body takes longer. Let's see if an answer bubbles up. Right into that place telling you, this is what I need you to hear. This is what I need you to pay attention to. Maybe it's just a feeling. And if nothing comes up, just stay with the physical sensation. Giving it full permission to be. If you notice your mind going away, come back to the sensation in the body. And just say present and relaxed, sitting alongside it. You might even draw in your mind's eye a circle around this area, just creating a full space for it to be fully felt. It might help to breathe it out a little bit. And notice if the sensation moves or shifts, if it's landed in one area. And just know that you've listened to your energy today, the sensation, the language of your body. And that you've released what you're ready to release and clear today. And each time you come back, you can clear a little bit more. Recognizing that this is what your body needs. Time to listen to it and be with it. To clear all the underlying stuff that usually gets ignored through the course of our day, eventually building up the volume. And just coming to a place of integration with where you are now. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So just out of curiosity, how many of you could feel wherever the sensation started? Did anybody feel like it moved or shifted or changed at all? Okay, yeah, for me as well. And of course, we need more time to do it and expand this practice. But it's amazing what will happen in this whole inner world when we learn to go in and connect with this inner voice. It's always trying to lead us to integration. But all we need to do is learn how to step back and give it its space to heal and integrate and clear itself. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a taste of what we'll be covering during our course. If you have further questions, feel free to forward them to Barbara. She'll forward them to me. And I hope to see you in the course. I would love to have you. Thank you all for joining. Namaste.